Hey everybody, welcome. It's Matt. Hope you guys are having a great week. I know so many of you are getting ready for Christmas here, and it's nice to see such a good turnout, even right before Christmas. I thought tonight might not be so busy, so glad you guys could make it. It's going to be a lot of fun. I've got some good, really exciting updates on Link Create and some good Modus 8 updates for you guys as well. And of course, I'm going to be here to answer any questions that you guys have on making the most out of Modus 8 and getting it working even more for you. So let's make sure you guys can hear me well, and then we'll jump right in. So let's make sure you guys are hearing me well. Just give me a little shout out in the chat if you are. Dave. Hey, Dave. Steve, nice to see you. Hey, Will, what's going on? Long time no chat. Vanu, you made it too. Awesome, you're here, ready to rock. Ready to dig in. That's great. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, cool. Awesome. Let's get rolling. Oh, Frank, you made it as well. Awesome. Glad you guys are on. All right, well, let's jump in. So I got some good updates for you guys on Link Create. So the most popular feature, I would say by far, that everyone's just really loved is the link lists, right? How many of you guys like the link lists? Has that been helpful for you? Yeah, the link lists are really that's my favorite feature. It's just really easy to come in and see what you need to build. So a lot of people that are not in our group have heard about these link lists, and so they message me and say, hey, how do I get access to this? And we don't sell access to this outside of the group, so kind of tough luck for them. But as great as these link lists are, I think for those of you that have gotten into them, you'll realize that the only challenge or downside is that we don't have any control over the sites, right? So what happens is these sites change registration processes. They just go down, or sometimes these people have a valuable directory and they don't renew it. So you see these sites and sometimes they just, for whatever reason, don't work. And it's frustrating because they may be perfect sites for the niche or the location that you are going for. So based on your feedback, we've implemented a flagging system, and I'll show you in a little bit how to do that. But basically, if you see any link inside of the link list that's not working, if it's down, if it doesn't let you submit, or it just has some sort of a problem, you're going to be able to flag that for us, and that way we can collectively across the whole group maintain that list a little bit better. And we're going to add some features where you guys can actually suggest your own sites and be able to manage them a little bit more on your own as well. But the ones that are not working, you can just let us know by pressing this little flag button inside of a list, and we'll get those alerts. And I've got an assistant that's just going to go through and actually try to register a dummy business to those directories. And if it truly won't submit, then what we'll do is we'll mark it as can't be submitted, and we'll just move it off of the list. And we'll check it a month or two down the road and see if it is fixed and can come back on. But if not, then we'll clean it off the list so that way you're not trying to submit to sites that just don't work. All right. So that should help your experience on using those link create lists and getting getting high success rates out of them, but also saving time by not submitting to sites that just aren't going to get you a link. Okay. And there'll be some things that we're going to do in the future with like live link checking and just testing those sites, so we don't even have to wait for you guys to flag them. If one is down, we'll be able to identify it ahead of time. So, but for right now, that's a good first step for us having more clean lists is if you're using them, you can flag URLs that are not working, and we'll aggregate that across everybody else. So one thing that we'll do as well is we'll put one of my assistants not just on the checking, but also just submitting some dummy businesses to them and seeing which ones we can find ourselves too before you guys find them. All right. So it'll be good effort across the whole application. So the next big thing that I think is really going to be helpful for some of you it won't matter, but for some of you it'll be really helpful, and that is country-specific filtering. So we're going through every single link, and there's thousands upon thousands of these, going through every single link in all of Link Create and classifying it by country. Okay, so US, Canada, UK, Australia, etc. Right? So you'll be able to filter by country, and you can thank Mark Peters for this, because I think Mark's in Australia. I think you're in Australia, right, Mark? Telling us we needed this pronto, right? So the link lists are really great, but if you're outside of the US, sometimes that's not so great, because you have to try to manually filter through and see what ones will work in a particular country. So what you'll see, and actually I'll show you guys this right now, kind of how this works, is you're going to be able to do, now keep in mind these aren't all classified yet, because we've got to go through every single site one at a time and classify them as to what countries they accept. But basically this is how it will work. Inside of the linking sites and link create, there's this little filter option, and you're going to see this filter actually throughout like the whole application here. You're going to see this actually inside of the link lists, and we'll talk about how you can make a country specific list in a moment. But you'll see this throughout the application in linking sites, in the lists, and even soon in your live links, it'll have this in there too. So what you're going to be able to do is, here, let's just clear this filter out. And what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to come in and say, you know what, I want to just see sites in the UK, right? And so I can click apply, all right? Now we don't have these classified yet, so you can see that there's literally only one site in here for the UK, but let's just say, you know what, I wanted to see everything that was Australia. And so I can hit apply, and it's going to show me just the Australia sites, right? So you're going to be able to filter quickly down to what you want. Now, there's not a way currently for you to actually save that into a custom list, but that should be active in the next couple of days, where you'll be able to, let's say, take a list, within our system. So you might say something like, I want to take, what could be a list that somebody would want to take? I want to take like the building and construction list, let's say, right? So let's go down to that list. Building and construction list, right? I want to take that building and construction list, and I want to filter that down by just Australia, right? So I want only the Australia sites that are within building and construction. And then once you filter that down, you can then save that to your own custom list that's like a Australia building list. So then anytime you've got, a lead gen site or a client site that you want to build that for, you can just come in and apply that within your to-dos, just like you would the lists right now, but it will be country specific for you. So we'll go ahead and do like the main master citation lists for you that way. So we'll actually comb through this and make sure that's country specific. But in terms of all the niche ones, we're just going to, and location ones, we'll just make sure those are actually classified individually. And then within the list, you'll be able to filter down to what you want. So that way you can build your own custom list by country, by niche, whatever works for you. You'll be able to quickly just make the right list that you need. Okay. So along with that country specific filtering, we've added price filtering. So everybody was just kind of handling price before with the notes section. So like you may have noticed, like when I went in here into country and I looked up United Kingdom, and there was only one site listed, and it just showed, well, we don't have a UK list. It was in linking sites. You'll actually be able to have lists based on country once you save those, but you can also just look at an individual site level and see everything that fits a particular country. So if we come into here and we say United Kingdom and we hit apply, right, we only just had that one link that was in here. But you can see how this was handled before was just inside of the notes field, right? It would just say that it was $5 one time. Well, it's not very efficient if you want to say, hey, show me all the free sites or show me all the paid sites. So what we've implemented is price filtering. Now, keep in mind, the sites aren't classified as this yet. So you'll start to see, this will be working here in the next few days once we get through all the sites and classify them as free or paid. So when that's all live for all the sites, you'll be able to come in and just say, look, show me all the sites that are free to submit to, right, within a particular list. Or show me, all the paid sites. I want just one-time payments. Maybe this is a client project, so I don't want to be on the hook every, month or every year or something for this link. So I want to see just the links that are one-time payments that I can just take care of right now and never have to think about. Or you know what? This particular project doesn't really allow for that. I just want to see the free sites that I can submit to. And that way you can sort by free, and the particular list that you're on will automatically show you all the free sites. And then if you want to just save that into a free building list, then you can do that. And of course, apply that into any project that you want from there on out. Okay, so is that cool? What do you guys think of that? Is that helpful? I mean, it's not entirely helpful yet. I get it. It's not probably going to be totally helpful until the sites are all classified. But once the sites are classified, then it becomes a dream come true, because now you can come in and just say, hey, bam, I want just all the free sites in this niche, or I want, the higher end paid sites to really push something. Let me just check here. Tim said very helpful. Gabriel, hey, you asked, can you quickly run through how to run the linked list building formula? Let me make sure I understand what you mean. You want me to run like where you would have somebody go in link create, like say you wanted to do the building and construction list. Are you wondering how to just like set that formula up, so where you go ahead and just say, hey, I need building links or construction links, how to just set that up so they can be outsourced? Make sure I understand. Okay, cool. All right, great. Let's do this first, Gabriel. I want to just run through the other couple notes about like the link create and MODUS8 features, and then I'll jump right over to that first. Okay, that'll be the first like example question that we handle. Cool. Awesome. Okay, great. So those are really the biggies: country-specific filtering, price filtering, and then us being able to flag sites that are down. Okay, so is that clear for everybody how this kind of works? You're going to be able to just apply that filter inside of any list or on the list of all the linking sites. So from there, you're going to be able to see exactly what meets your criteria. And there's not a save button there right now to save it into your own list name, but in the next few days, that'll be live. So then you can create your own lists based off of all the links that we have in here. So if you want to say, yeah, I just want Australia building, or you know what, I just want all the free sites that are in appliance repair, I want all the paid real estate sites or whatever, then bam, you can just do that. Very, very helpful. Okay. All right, so first part of that's all in place, and then the saving into a custom list will be live in the next couple days. So MODUS8 updates. Our new formula library is almost ready. So I expect to unveil this to you guys after the holidays. We won't do a call probably next, well, we'll have to see. How many of you guys want to do a coaching call next week, next Wednesday? It's the day after Christmas, so I don't know how ideal that is for you guys. Know I'll make the time, but it's probably not ideal for a lot of people. I know they're traveling, still spending time with family. I've got family coming here, but they're not going to be here till the 28th. So yeah, most people, yeah, you guys are telling me take a break. Okay, all right, cool. All right, we'll take a little break, but then we'll come back the next week. Formula library might be ready. If it's not, then probably the call after it'll be ready to go for you guys. That's going to be really helpful, especially for some of you that are like, hey, how do I know if how do I know if I have all the formulas, including like, some of these new ones that get released during a webinar? If you miss a webinar, sometimes you don't know that you missed the formula that went along with it. So that will solve it. You'll be able to just see at a glance what formulas you have, which ones you don't. You'll just be able to click add right inside your dashboard, and then you'll have them in your account. So the share links will still be active and available, but the place to really use those would be like if somebody is giving you or sharing with you like a private formula that's not publicly like in the whole list of formulas. All my formulas for the most part are going to be public, but if somebody creates something specific, like Kyle created the pro rank tracker formula, that's not something I'm just going to be able to like push out to everybody's account because it's Kyle's formula. So if he wants to share that with you, in which case he did, then you just need the share link still in order to accept that into your account. But everything that we're publishing, anything that I'm going to put out, I'll just be able to push into your account automatically. So you'll always have every up-to-date formula. Okay. So that is going to be a sweet feature. Other additions, major enhancements coming to outsourcer reporting, delivery timeframes, and ratings. So we talked about this a few weeks back. This is all underway. It'll be coming in January sometime, but that's going to be able to show you exact timeframes of how long outsourcers are taking to do the specific task that you're about to hire them for. So you're like, hey, I want to get this, review thing done, or I want to get this citation done, or I'm wondering how long it takes to write this piece of content. Well, you're going to be able to see that, hey, she normally writes this thing in 2 days. Or, you know what, it takes her a day to start this, but then it only takes her a day to deliver it. So you're going to be able to see not only the delivery, like how long it actually takes them, but you're going to also be able to see like the lag time of if somebody doesn't accept things right away, or if somebody does accept things right away, but it takes them a little bit of time to do it. So it's going to help you to quickly see how long something's going to take, and to just manage expectations a little bit better, and to tell if an outsourcer is potentially overwhelmed and maybe you should avoid them, as well as letting you know if something wasn't accepted or is behind schedule, it's behind like that outsourcer's kind of normal time frame. It will alert you, so that way you're not just waiting, wondering, not knowing what's going on. So there's major enhancements coming there, including the ability to have ratings for all outsourcers. That will help as well. Their deliveries, their communication will only improve knowing that you guys are rating them, because they will want to make sure their ratings stay high, or no one will hire them. Okay, so all that's coming in January, and I think that will be probably one of the biggest and nicest additions that we've had to date. So I know a lot of you that are outsourcing a lot are looking forward to that, just because you outsource a lot of things, and then it's kind of like, hey, I just want to make sure everything is moving smoothly, and how do I know I didn't miss something, right? How do I know I didn't forget about something and then not have it delivered? So I think that will be very helpful. Okay. All right, so let's do this. Let's jump over to MODUS8 and let's go into Gabriel's question about how to do that country-specific link list. All right, so let's just start from square one. I'm going to go ahead and just pick a domain, and I'm going to show you first how to make sure that it's set up in Link Create right, and then we'll go over to MODUS8 and we'll actually do that. Okay, we'll actually go do that that formula. Okay, so let's do this. I am just going to go to MODUS8 here, and let me just log into one of my accounts. All right. So Gabriel, once I'm in my account, okay, we're good there. You're going to want to do this in tandem with your Link Create account. Okay, so let's just start at square one. Domain. All right, we need to have a domain. So if you don't already have your domain in Link Create, just come in, hit Create New, put your domain in here, put your sitemap here, and once you put your sitemap in, you can hit Import. It's going to show the whole list of all of your pages and posts and tags and everything else here. You can hit a little Select All button. Actually, yeah, I'll just show you here kind of what that looks like, just as it's a good refresher. All right, so let's just grab a site, come in here, plug the URL in, and then find the sitemap, which usually if it's WordPress, you can just type /sitemap.xml, and that's not going to be the actual sitemap URL, but it'll get you there. So you want to actually copy the sitemap URL. Once you have it, then you can come and dump that back into the sitemap field here and hit Import. And I already have this domain added in this Link Create account, but this is what it's going to look like when you add it in. It's going to show you all of these pages, posts, right? It's going to have all of them right here. And you can just hit Select All, and then you're going to click Save. And once you do that, it's going to save it to your account, all right? So if I click into here, I mean, I already had this in here, but this is what it would look like when you bring it in, okay? It's going to put everything right in here. And the benefit of this is then you can always drill into each of these pages and look at the links coming into that page. Okay, so but beyond the point, once you have the domain in here, you're ready to go. Okay, so we're going to go over to Modus 8. Let's make a project for this specific location. Okay, so I'm going to say, for instance, that we're going to be building these citations to one of the location pages. All right, now if it was just the home page, that'd be fine too. But I'm just going to pretend to build this to an inner page. All right, so let me just find what I want to build it to here. Do I have a White Plains page in here? Maybe I don't. Let me see. Let me just find the location page I want to build to. These have already all had citations to them, but we can just pick one. All right, we'll do this. We'll do this East Chester location. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into Modus 8, and I like to set up my projects by location. So if it's just a single site, you know, with the location kind of tied to the home page, then you can just make the project just the business name. It doesn't need to have a location modifier or anything. But most of my stuff is multiple locations, so I'm actually going to come in here and I'm going to call this project the Home Insulators of East Chester, because that actually is my like GMB name. So for organization, I like organizing them by location, because if you get a lot of locations, even a few locations in a particular site, it gets really tricky, because now you're like logging in trying to remember, like, okay, what does this file go to? What do these citations go to? I separate it out by location, so that way only the files for that location go into that project. So it's way easier to come back later and find it. So easy, you just set it up, Home Insulators of East Chester, that's my location. And Gabriel, do you want to build, what kind of links do you want to build here? Do you want to just do like the master citation, or do you want to do like a niche list or something? They all work the same basically, but I didn't know if there was one particular that you were needing help with. I'll wait and see if you... Okay, niche list. All right, cool. So this is what we're going to do. Once we've made the project, click Tasks and Formula. I'm just going to start typing this in. Build niche citations. I'm going to hit select, and anything that's got this solid color outsource button, that's something that can be outsourced. If it's kind of grayed out, like sort of watermarked like this, I can't outsource that. I can't outsource the strategy of like knowing what page I'm building to or reviewing the work from an outsourcer. I can't outsource that to the outsourcer. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my name off of here, and I'm going to click outsource, because building citations, that's actually what I want to outsource. Okay, hit next, and then I can start this right now. And once I start this up, then you're going to see right away that there's two tasks. Okay, and it's going to show them both in the upcoming column here for a brief moment. And then what it's going to do is it's going to move the first task into the to-do column so we can start it. So the first task here is called prep for niche citations. So let's just read the instructions here. In the upcoming task called build niche citations on to-do list, 1, add business location details spreadsheet, okay, which is in the files right here. So we'll have to download that and fill that out. 2, the URL to build citations to. So if it's not the home page, we want to specify the actual page that it's going to. The link create access token URL, which we'll get that in a second, and then what list we want them to use in link create, okay? And once we have done that, then we're ready to rock and roll. So I'm just gonna save this. So it's saying we need to go into this upcoming task and add our information here, because this is what the outsourcer is going to use to do their work. So if we go into this upcoming task, what's all here? Add business location details spreadsheet with global sharing to files, right? Well, guess what? It's in here too. I put it in both tasks so you can't miss it. So you're going to download this spreadsheet and put the business location details in it and add that back to the files. Next thing that you're going to do is specify the URL that you want to build citations to. Okay, so if you're going to be building to an inner page or something, you'll want to specify that. Otherwise, your home page if it's just a single location. And next is the link create access token URL. So we can get that right in link create. Okay, and it's really easy. If we just go to domains, home insulators is the one we're working on. There's this little button right here, which is the second one. So like a little share button. Okay, it says create an access URL. We just click on that, and it says an access URL has been created for you. Click the field below to copy it. So if I just click my mouse on there, it's kind of hard to see, but it's highlighting the box. It's actually copying that little token. So now what I can do is I can actually just paste that token right there. And what will happen is once this outsourcer comes in and accepts this work, he or she is just going to go to that token URL, and it's just going to say, okay, great. You know, you're authorized to manage links basically for Gabriel on this home insulators domain. Can't delete anything. They can only change the status of the links and add links. Okay, so but that's really handy because once they go there, then they're going to see in their dashboard just the home insulators, and they'll be able to go in and, you know, all the delete buttons are removed, but they can go in and actually add that to-do list for you. So that's really the last step here is we have to specify what list we want them to use. So if we're saying that this is, you know, insulation contractors or insulation, then we need to put insulation, right? If we're just saying that this is, you know, building construction list, right? Then we put building construction. If we're saying that this is building construction free, right? Say we skin our list down into a free list, then we can say building construction free. And that way, when they come in and get access to that domain, they're going to go ahead and specify what list is being created as a to-do. And of course, they'll set it to the URL that you've said here. And then they'll start building those links using the details that are in the spreadsheet. So you don't have to go and like set up the to-do and do all that. You just need to provide your business details, the access token, and then what you want them to build. Like, is it the master citation list? Is it the building list? Is it the Denver list? Whatever it is that you want them to build, you're going to specify that. And all of the citation formulas work this exact same way. So if it's the master list or the location list, you're following these same steps. The only one that's different is in the master list. You don't have to specify what list you want to use because the formula is just centered right around that one list. Okay. So does that make sense, at least so far on that? And I'll show you what the next piece is, but let me check chat here. Okay, got it. Sorry, I'm just trying to, don't show me the comments very big. Okay, so it is not a specific link that we need to link to. No, not at all. Yeah, you don't have to link to like a specific like page or anything within link create. Just give them that like generic access token. Now that token is tied just to their user account. So if you go create another access token, it's going to be a different token URL. And then once they accept that that token, then if you click on the access button here, it's actually going to show the users that have the access, okay? Which will match up with the outsourcer's name in MODUS8. So if it says, you know, VJ here has access, then there'll be an action button. So when the project's done, if you want to remove his access, you can. If you're planning on doing more with that domain, you could just leave it. Otherwise, you can just, you know, remove the access. And then when he logs into his account, he's not going to see your domain anymore. But you just have to give him the generic access token and then tell them what page you want to build to and what list you want to use, and that's it. Okay, you can take it from there. Yeah, Jim asked, hey Jim, so you don't create the to-do list, you just let the VA create the to-do list. Aha. Yeah, I mean, you could create the to-do list if you want, but I don't. I like letting them create the list, and the reason why is because I just observed that like they became more familiar with what they were doing. Like they now kind of recognize the list and the domain or page that it was going to because they set it up. So it was like they were making sure that it matched what I put in the task in Modus 8. And so once they actually set this up, now when they go to the to-do list and they're starting to build those links, it's like kind of a matching process. It's like, oh yeah, installation and building links. Okay, got it. Like it was familiar in their mind. And that's helpful because if you're having like, if you end up doing a lot of links, going to the same site at once for like different cities, I do find that's helpful because they can then just like know that, yeah, I'm building to the Tampa page or I'm building to the Minneapolis page or whatever it might be. I think it makes them a little bit more familiar. Like they're setting up the work for themselves. So like they're going to, they're going to be familiar with it. Okay. So the next piece of that is once you've added all of this stuff here, so just your business info, your link create, where it's going, your link create token, and the list that you want to save it. Make sure that all that actually saves there. Make sure that you uploaded your spreadsheet, and then you're just going to come over to the outsource tab, and that's when you're going to hit assign. So if you hit assign, okay, and you can hit yes, you have to hit save, and then it's actually going to send the invite. So if you don't hit save here, it's not going to send it, but as soon as you click the save, it's off to him, and he's going to go ahead and confirm that. Now he sees the project in his dashboard. He's got the link create token, so he can go grab that. He can see exactly what he's building, and it just makes it really, really simple. And I think you guys are going to love it with these expanded link create lists because we're putting in all the image sharing lists. We have, you guys are going to love this. We have all the social properties mapped out. We're not just talking like Facebook, Twitter, but like a full like Noam profile. If you guys are familiar with Noam, like all of like the profile and social sites on the internet, those are all going to be in link create, and you'll be able to use formulas, should be by like next week, on all of those. So you'll be able to come in and say, bam, I just want main socials done, or I want this set of socials done, or these profile links done. And same thing, all of those will be stored in link create, so then you can check indexing, you can check if stuff's live, and you can have them sorted by even industry specific profile links. Pretty cool. So link create's going to be like the hub for all of that. Let me just keep going through here. Give me 1 second. All right. I just need to scroll through GoToWebinar. If anyone wants to, if any of you guys are like GoToWebinar chat experts, I'll pay you for your coaching because it's like about every other webinar, like the comments get like jumbled and there's not a way for me to see like the order. So let me just, I'm just going to scroll through. Give me a moment. I want to make sure that I didn't miss any of your questions. Yeah, Steve asked, so when the outsourcer is done, shouldn't they move this over to the review column for me to check out? Yes. Yep. So if it's like a drip kind of task where it's going to be something they're doing like every week or every month and it's repeating, like the same task is being done multiple times, not just like multiple links, but like build me 20 links this week and then build me 20 more next week, or write me a blog post this week and then write me another blog post next week for this project. Every time one of those iterations is completed, they should be moving it to the review column for you. So that way, until you approve it, the next iteration is not going to start. Let me see. Just a moment. Okay, Jim, you liked my way better. Glad you liked it. Okay. Vanu, Matthew, I'm late to the program, but I want to get started in the new year. What would be the easiest path for me to get a domain like a divorce attorney site ranked for a few counties in a state? Oh, that's a good question. So what I would suggest is what we're seeing is the fastest path to getting calls coming in and actually having an asset here to sell or rent, or however you want to work it, is Google My Business listings saturated in a metro area. Like at our next live event, like this is going to be one of the main things that I will just go in so much depth on. But you don't need to wait till a live event in order to jump in on this. I would suggest, Venu, that you find a market that you like, whether that's your area or if you've got a particular geographic area in mind that you're drawn to, then I would start with that, and I would go ahead and get at least a few GMBs for around that metro area, because what you're going to find is that most businesses, most attorneys are going to be competing for just the main city. So if we're talking like Chicago here, there, as an example, it's random city, everyone's going to want to rank for Chicago. But what they're going to forget is that a lot of people that are going to search for an attorney in Chicago are actually going to live in a suburb, right? So Google's actually going to show them results that are closer to them than what's in downtown Chicago. If they're over in Naperville or Schaumburg or some, outlier city, like Google's more likely to show them the results there than they are just in downtown Chicago. So the advantage comes from having GMBs in those suburbs. Now, I know it's going to seem odd that I might say don't worry about getting your website up first or doing citations or all these other things. But if you want the fastest possible path, and pretty inexpensive too, to get business coming in an area, nothing is better than this GMB strategy. I had a coaching call with a couple of our members today, and one of which has got probably, I think now, well, to start, it was only about 20 or 21 Google My Business listings. They've since added 60, 61 more, 63 more, something like that. But what they noticed was even after their first 20, they were just ranking all over the place. So again, not like they're ranking in the biggest city, but everywhere around that, they are ranking. And what happens is a lot of people will type in the base keyword. So say divorce attorney, right? People are going to actually just type in divorce attorney or divorce attorney near me. A lot of people will type that in, not just with the city name or geographic part added. And so what happens is now you start showing up in the map pack for these, great keywords just outside of a big city. And he showed me, he was pretty excited. He showed me that this is actually an attorney website, and they had already gotten some actual signed business just from the GMBs done this way without even having a website. Okay. So not saying don't build a website, don't do citations and all of that. It absolutely will help you move up their rankings higher. But picking some low-hanging fruit that other most SEOs just do not understand this. This is a really special opportunity right now because a lot of people don't understand this proximity thing. It's been going on for a little while, at least, probably a good year and a half or so. But people still don't fully understand it. They just go, well, I'm going to set my service area bigger and I'll be fine. Well, not quite, because Google will just pull whoever is closer to that person searching instead of you just setting your service area wider. So setting a bigger service area doesn't help. What does help is having multiple GMBs that kind of butt up against each other, all having small service areas, and then no matter where somebody's searching from, you show up. So it's really, I could show you just a lot of examples. It's pretty amazing, but that is absolutely where I would start. I just put up another lead gen business, and I've got my site. It's not perfectly polished. My site is not attached to my GMBs yet, but I've been getting a lot of GMBs for it. The site's not fully done. I will attach the site once it's done, have city landing pages for all of it, and do the citations and everything. But to get business flowing super fast, I just put the GMBs up right away. So I did this actually for a kind of a client lead gen partnership in HVAC, and oh my gosh, this is actually in the state of New York, and it was in 10 days, $150,000 of new business for this HVAC company, and we're talking brand new. Literally, they didn't even have like shirts. I was kind of laughing to myself because the owner had FaceTimed me and said, "Can you get me the logo, that you just made?" I mean, the site's not even live, So I was like, "Well, for the website," I'm like, "It's already on the website." He's like, "No, I need it for shirts." And I was like, "Oh," because they got all these jobs lined up, and they've like, it's a brand new business, like it's just completely brand new, and $150,000 of new business in 10 days. So he's like, over the moon. It's pretty awesome. And that was from that was quite a few GMBs that I put up for them. Okay, so just to be realistic, at that point when he called me, I think I already had like 60 GMBs up. So it's a lot of GMBs, but they're getting right now about 15 service calls per day. And we're right now up to about, I think, 90 or so GMBs. So it's a lot of GMBs. You don't have to go to do that many. But it's a direct correlation between number of GMBs and number of phone calls, or number of form submissions if you have a website attached. So that is absolutely where I would start. And then once you get that in place, starting the first of the year, I'm kicking off a whole probably month of just pure GMB formulas. Every little formula for GMB will go over, kind of like how we did at conveyor belt SEO, but a little more in depth and what's most current. And I will have just a dedicated GMB track for you. Like if you just want to rank a listing, this is what you do. Okay, so ignore the website, if you just want to rank a GMB, this is what you do. And that would be the perfect thing to add after you had some GMB listings. Okay. All right. Forgive me, Vanu, if you asked any other questions, because it's jumbled all my questions out of order, but I'm just going to keep going through the list. And if there's any follow-up or anything else you need, just type it in if I haven't asked it, and I should see it. Jim said, Matt, I wish we could tackle the 3 services on one GMB question. I think it will make sense. Okay, do this, Jim. I don't want to reveal your keywords on here, so let me just read through your questions and see if I can answer it kind of without kind of giving away your site and stuff. It makes sense. AC repair. Okay, it's a great example. 3 service pages. Ranking city hub page on GMB. How would you handle? Okay, so what Jim's asking is how I would handle doing citations when you have a business that kind of tackles multiple keywords, meaning like an HVAC business where you might have like heating and you might have air conditioning and you might have plumbing. Like, how do you handle that? And what I suggest is that you look to Google to show you what you have currently that is performing best. Okay, so they're going to give the most weight to your primary category. It's going to be pretty difficult for you to just rank number 1 for like multiple different categories in a pretty populated area, because if your main category is HVAC contractor and you also want to rank for plumbing, let's say, I don't know if that's exactly what you want, but it's a decent example, I think. Let's say you also want to rank for plumbing. Well, if you're going up against people that have plumbing as their primary category, they have a substantial edge. Okay, so my best suggestion for this is when you have a business that spans multiple categories, you actually go ahead and break them out and it's a little tricky if it's a client situation, but you have to kind of clear this with them, or just say, look, I can really only rank you super well for like this category or this realm of things. And then you could supplement that with a lead generation site for plumbing, let's say, where they're not doing so well. Okay, so I look to Google to see what Google already likes. If I see that they're ranking number 6 for HVAC, but they're ranked number 36 for plumbing, it's Google doesn't think this thing is that much about plumbing. They're thinking other sites are far more relevant. I'm gonna have a much tougher time pushing that site up for plumbing than I will pushing it up for HVAC. So I like to align with what Google already is showing me they like and put my category as HVAC and push that up as much as I can. In the case of saying, okay, well, but Matt, we also want to get plumbing business from this. So are you saying we just can't do plumbing? What I do is I actually have a separate GMB that's just plumbing. So instead of, Bob's HVAC and plumbing, I just do Bob's HVAC, and then I have another one that's Bob's plumbing, and I point the Bob's plumbing one to a plumbing page for that area, because plumbing and like HVAC, totally different keywords, and that way there's no confusion there. There's no overlap, and now I can set on that. I can set plumber as my category on the, for the plumbing side of things. And now instead of being at 36, now I'm like 6, right? So just getting your category and like your defined topic right for Google is a lot of it. If you find like you're not ranking well across multiple services, it's because Google isn't clear what the primary thing is. And when you have a lot of different categories, unfortunately, there's not really a clean way of doing that. My domination strategy is you have to have multiple GMBs and you have to have them separated by category, by niche. Now, Google probably doesn't want you to do that, and your competitors certainly wouldn't want you to do that. But aside from just settling and not ranking well for plumbing, let's say, or one of these other categories, that's the best thing in order to still, win. Okay. Hopefully that helps, Jim. It is kind of a tricky topic, but that's how I would handle it. Just go through and see here what we got. Okay. Some of these are outside of the realm of MODUS8 and software, but it's the holidays, so I'll still help you guys out here. Let me see here. What else we got? Tim asked, local GMB question. South Philadelphia has multiple well-known neighborhoods for each zip code. What is the best to do? One GMB for all of South Philadelphia, or would you do one for each zip code and pick one of the neighborhoods in the name, or put the zip code in the name for the area? I wouldn't put the zip code in the name. I think that would look funny. I think that would tip people off that this is probably lead generation of some sort. So your examples here, ABC roofing of, and then zip code, I wouldn't do that. ABC roofing of University City, so one neighborhood for each zip code, or ABC roofing of South Philadelphia. Tim, I would lean more towards ABC roofing of South Philadelphia. I don't know. I mean, I haven't looked, at your, and this is hypothetical, right? This isn't even the niche, but I'd kind of want to see how many businesses are, in that South Philadelphia area and how populated these neighborhoods are. Because I was doing some GMBs, Lee in our group got a lot of GMBs, and so I was talking with him about identifying areas like this, especially when a zip code has multiple cities. And in his case, what we did was we went for the areas that had sort of the best ideal population for the service that this lead gen site was tailored, or this client site was tailored around. So for instance, let's say that, there's multiple kind of higher end or really great neighborhoods that fit your service well. In that case, I would probably make one for like every zip code or every few zip codes. If it's something that, could just be handled by one, and you're not seeing a lot of other businesses different businesses showing up in those different areas, then that's kind of a sign as well. Like if you do a search from different parts of South Philadelphia and every time you're seeing something totally different, then just means there's a lot of competitors, and Google really is playing into that proximity and showing different people each time. The biggest advantage I will tell you that you can have is getting your keywords within the GMB business name. So if a lot of people are typing in like South Philadelphia roofing or roofing South Philly or something like that, like very close to what the business name is, then it doesn't matter so much that you have one for every single zip code. Google's going to pick up that it's close and it's within a few miles, and they're going to think that people are actually looking for your business, not just a roofing business. So having those keywords in the name is huge. The closer it matches, the better you do. But you just, again, my rule is don't look like a lead gen, or try to look like a lead gen as how do I want to say? Just try to make it look a little more branded, okay? So don't, even though it does really work well to just have the pure keyword as your business name, if anybody knows anything about lead generation, they're going to know that it's most likely a lead gen kind of thing when it doesn't sound like a real business. So a great way around this is just to add one word or two words on the front or the back of the name. So if it's like, if you're trying the keywords like roofing South Philadelphia or South Philly, then you could have something like, A plus roofing South Philly, A plus roofing South Philadelphia, or the South Philadelphia roofing CO, right? The South Philadelphia roofing company, right? So you can make it sound a little more branded without just saying South Philadelphia roofing or roofing South Philadelphia. It always sounds a little more lead generation like if you have the keyword first followed by the geographic area, but that is how more people type it. More people will type in the niche followed by the location than the location followed by the niche. So roofing South Philadelphia is more likely to be searched than just South Philadelphia roofing. So just kind of keep that in mind. I would go with your option C unless you're seeing that just the proximity results are showing so many different things, that there's so many competitors. If that's the case, then I would go ahead and add a few more GMBs in the best neighborhoods and call your GMB names pretty closely to what the keyword is. Work the keyword into the name heavily. That will ensure that you rank out of the gate. Yeah, it's pretty awesome, but some of these times you can rank like really, really fast. Sometimes it's just like almost instant. In the case of the coaching client earlier today, who's in our group, he showed me a keyword search and he had all 3 spots of the map back because Google was pulling a broader. This is more of like a regional term. And because he had multiple GMBs within that region, he was like just showing up for the entire all 3 spots of the 3-pack were him. Okay, if there's something that you guys have asked that I didn't get, do me a favor and ask me again. Just scrolling back through this list and making sure top to bottom. Oh, Steve, you're welcome. Glad to hear that's working well. Oh, Carol. Hey, Carol. I missed this. I don't know when you asked this, but I'm glad I spotted it. What are your thoughts on ordering GMB reviews for a client? Should I run it by them first or just do them? If you're just gonna be doing like a handful, it's random anyway, probably not a big deal. If you're going to be doing a substantial amount of reviews, I think I would run it by them. A lot of times what happens with my clients is this. We get talking about rankings and, what we're going to be targeting and, what I'm going to do for them. and I say, you know, there's only one thing that's going to hold you back. Okay, which kind of like puts there, you know, it's like, wait a second, Matt, this all sounded so great. Like, what do you mean there's gonna be something that's gonna hold us back? I said, there's really only gonna be one thing that's gonna hold you back, and that's your reviews. Because right now, because most clients, they don't have a bunch of reviews. I said, that's what's gonna hold you back is your reviews. Because right now you only have like 5 reviews, or you only have 20 reviews, or whatever the number is, or you know, you have reviews, but you're only 3.5 stars, which looks really bad, right? Considering this other competitor's got 4.5, right, or 5. So I'm going to get you to the top of the page for all of these things, but there's going to be one problem. Once I have you there, now people are going to pay attention to your reviews. So whereas before they might not have cared because they didn't see you, but now they're seeing you at the top of the page and you only have 3.5 stars or 3 stars or whatever it might be. So if you leave it like that and don't do anything to bring in more reviews and bring that to 4 or 5 stars, basically we're showing up and people are passing us by because they go, oh, well, those guys don't look that good. I don't think I'm going to call them. I'll call this guy instead. He's got less reviews, but he looks better. Okay, so that is the big thing that I bring up right away is that, you know, we're going to get you placed, but unless you have review, and I just paint it out as an example to them. I say, think about it this way. You're doing a search for something, some service or something you want to hire, and now you see that, you know, one business has like no reviews, another business has a good amount of reviews, and they're all really pretty good. And then you see another business that has even more reviews, but their score is lower. Okay, not the lowest, but it's lower. They're a lot of times going to go with the guy that's got, you know, kind of the moderate amount of reviews, but that are better, just because it seems like, you know, it's probably safer. Geez, there's a lot of reviews, but it's only like 3.5 stars, so a lot of people must not think this is that good. So I paint this picture to them, and I say there's a couple ways we can handle this. I say, first, you guys can go out and talk to everybody that you know and get reviews. And they may have tried this and probably failed because people don't usually want to go leave reviews, or they maybe left a review and it got filtered or whatever, or they'll proceed to tell me about Yelp and how they hate Yelp or whatever it might be. And I say, look, here's the thing. You guys can go get reviews on your own, and I'm going to give you a month to get that done. Now, if you can't get the reviews and we don't bring that score up, then the only other option is for me to go get reviews for you. Now, let's just be honest here. These aren't necessarily people that or accounts that have actually, actually like hired you. So you can either give me reviews that are real reviews from people that we can get posted, that for whatever reason, you know, they've written them in or couldn't get them posted or something. We can go and get those posted, or I can just get people to leave you reviews. May not be actually indicative of what, what this particular service is or people's experience, but it will help you bring up your score. What do you want me to do? And I just let them tell me what they're comfortable with. A lot of times, it's about 50-50. Sometimes they'll say, okay, well, we'll see what we can do, or, well, we'll see what we can do, but can you get some coming in for us? Or they'll say, oh, just you handle it. I know that, like, it's going to be a pain in the butt. You know, we're going to be pulling teeth trying to get people to leave these reviews. Matt, can you just get the reviews? Because I just know that we probably won't get it done. Okay. And so if that's the case, I say, okay, no problem. So then I'll get the reviews coming in, and then you won't have to worry about it. But we need to bring that score up. Otherwise, once I've got you ranked, guess what? You know, it's actually going to do more harm than good, because nobody's gonna hire you. So, okay. Will asks, when is the next live event? I spoke with our event planner today, and while I've been wanting to get things on the books for early March, it may be a little tight to fit that in. So we're just, coordinating with hotels right now to see if we can pull everything off by then. What do you guys think? Early March or early May? May gives us a lot more time to plan, so be a little bit bigger event most likely. more features, more special stuff for you guys, but it means you got to wait a little bit longer. So if you have a preference, you can let me know. But I'm going to be leaning on Sherry a little bit just to see what her and her team can do in a short amount of time. We will see. If you got any thoughts on which you'd like, you can let me know. Steve, send me a message on that if you would, so I can get you updated links for those. Let me see what else we got here. Sorry, guys, I apologize. GoToWebinars just jumble these comments all up, so it's no rhyme or reason. Even if I sort by your names, it doesn't help. Give me a moment. Okay, tackled that. Okay, we got that. Carol asked, is there an outsourcer that can build competitor benchmarking links after the research has been done? VJ can do this, but I need to get him to set a bid. So Carol, if you want to shoot me a reminder on that, I need to get him to set a bid specifically. It's not the easiest thing for him to bid because every list is different. So some competitor links you might be able to easily build. Other ones, you could go through 10 sites and not even be able to get a single one just because, it's kind of a luck of the draw. It just depends on the list that's pulled. So shoot me a message on that, and I'll work to figure out what is an accurate bid for him on that, and then we can get it up and it's ready to go. He's built them many times, so he's very familiar with how to do them. We just need to, I want him to price it accordingly so you guys get a good deal on it and are not paying for stuff that doesn't go live. So, Gabriel asks, is there a formula for creating link lists? Gabriel, there isn't, but that would be a pretty easy one for me to create. So, again, if you want to just shoot me a message or put a request into support and just say, hey, can we get a formula for creating link lists? It's not, well, let me make sure I understand right. Are you meaning just taking your own list of sites and doing that? Or are you saying have an outsourcer go out and search for a particular keyword or a particular location, find all those sites and put it together in a list? Or would this be something like you would just do? You can let me know which that would be. Vanu said, if it's in Minneapolis, then May. No, it'll be somewhere warmer. I don't think you guys want to come here. In May would be actually really nice here, but we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, and then springtime, it's actually really nice here. But the rest, through March, it was pretty cold, and we could get snow, and we don't want to hold things up with snow. So, I didn't see your. I'm so sorry, guys, that this is jumbled this stuff because it's really made it tricky to tell if I've fully answered your question or if you had follow up. Gabriel asked, how quick can you rank a GMB, one brand new GMB? Depends on the keyword. Depends on the keyword in the area. In some cases, depends on what you define as ranking. In some cases, we're dominating a 3-pack inside of 3 days. But obviously, that's not like water damage Los Angeles or something like that. If it's going to be something more competitive, it might take a few months. But my preferred strategy is not to go for water damage Los Angeles. I go for all the suburbs around it. And that way I get rankings, in the first week. And I start getting calls coming in. And that can help me to rank Los Angeles as well. If I have city landing pages, I can take all the city landing pages and link over to a Los Angeles page that I'm working on as well. So I go for the lower hanging fruit, even with client stuff, because I can show them results quickly. I can get their phone ringing. I can show them that they're actually ranking for stuff. And then from there, I can leverage it into the bigger city. Because bigger city, you know, it's going to take a little more time. Vanu says, how do I get GMBs? Is it another Google property like PDF or sitemap or something? There's a couple things. There is a formula inside of Modus 8 to get a GMB via Craigslist, meaning you're literally paying somebody to basically give you their address to get a GMB there. Okay, so that's one method. There's another couple options. I put an offer in our Facebook group, which spread like just wildfire, but I'm about to put it back up here again, probably over the holidays. And that is because the response has been, you know, just huge, and we've been kind of just clearing the slate, and we'll be ready to do some more. But that offer is $8 per month to get yourself a GMB, and then after 10 months, it's paid for and you own it. So it's pretty inexpensive, and it's a really easy way to get in the game cheaply, you know, and kind of spread that cost out a little bit over a few months, so you can get several GMBs up right away, but not have to pay for them all at once. So that's something I'm actually just personally financing for people, because I really just believe in this strategy so much that I'm financing people's GMBs just so they can get in the game, because it's once you get in the game and you start seeing results, like, oh my gosh, well, like I don't know if you're on, Kyle, or if you're busy like mapping out more GMBs that you want to get. I don't know if you're on, but if you are on, throw something in the chat about your results, because I mean, literally like phone calls within days from some of these suburb kind of listings. So, you know, when you don't have to put all the money up front to even get them, it's yeah, it's pretty helpful. You can scale something quickly and get phone calls and business coming in before you've even fully paid for it. So that's pretty nice. What else do we got here? All right, I'm going to try to scroll through one more time here. I really apologize, guys and gals, that it's like, oh, now that's an interesting thought. Frank said, come down to the JW and Marco Island. Well, I'll have to let you know, Frank. I think I'm staying at the Hyatt, Hyatt Regency, Coconut Point, in January. I think we have it booked, something like that. You want to come visit me at my hotel and get something to eat, you can. I don't know if we'll venture out much. They got the water park and all that stuff, so my kids will probably not want to leave there. I don't know if we'll get down to Naples. We probably will, maybe quickly, but they kind of like hanging out at the resort, pools and stuff. So I don't know if we'll have an event down there or not. Kind of do the bigger cities typically, but maybe I could see you down that way. All right, I'm just gonna scroll one more time through here and see. And I apologize if I missed one of your questions. Just if you would send it in a support, or you can just personally message me right after the call, and I'll make sure I check it and see. Because it's weird, like you guys ask a question and then it's like putting it at the top of the list, like right after I asked everybody to say, hey, are you on the call? Like, can you hear me? Let's see if there's anything else here. Answered that. Okay. Just hear my mouse clicking here. I'm going to scroll through these guys. Okay, yeah, answered that. All right, I tell you what, I've gone through the whole list. I'm not seeing anything else that is new here. Oh, Will said, March works for me. No later than late May, as I'll be overseas. Really looking forward to meeting you and the group. Yeah, no, it would definitely be before like mid-May. So we have a wedding at the end of May, so we'll do it before then. Future employee of mine is actually getting married. She's a good family friend of ours, and so we'll be off doing that. You guys will actually probably won't meet her at this event because she's in wedding mode. which I'll meet her at the next event. So she's kind of behind the scenes. She works for us part-time right now, but she's a rock star. Okay, well, I've gone through everything here. I'm not seeing anything else. And so if I missed anything, I apologize. I'm going to do some research about how to handle GoToWebinar comments a bit better so doesn't do this to me again. But if I missed a question, send it in. I want to wish you guys a great Christmas if you celebrate Christmas. If you don't, just have an awesome week. And however you celebrate or whatever you do, have an awesome time. We're just going to be spending time with family and taking it easy up this way, and I'll probably be making some formulas for you guys. So I just want to thank you all. It was an awesome call tonight. We covered a lot of good ground. But as always, just message me with what you need or send it in support, and we'll get you set up. And I'll talk to you guys next couple weeks, okay? Good night, everybody.